You'll lay one down with the right side facing you, and then you'll lay the other side down with the right sides facing each other, so now the wrong side's facing you. So it's inside out, right? And then you'll grab one of the side seams, starting at the waist. There's a notch right there on both layers. That's supposed to indicate 1/2 inch seam allowance. You have 2 needles on your overlock machine. The one that's on the left is supposed to line up with the notch. That's your 1/2 inch seam allowance. These are curved and not shaped the same. Turn it over because you can see. They fight each other. So you have to, with your fingers, force them to match up. I would highly recommend that you take some fabric and run it through before you dive into your skirt, because as I said, there's a knife here, and if it cuts something off your skirt, I do not know how to fix it. And what else did I want to tell you? Once it takes hold and that needle is lined up with your 1/2 inch mark, from there your only guide is what's going on over here with the knife. So you just look at where the knife is hitting and you try and keep it consistent for the rest of the skirt. So it looks like it's cutting off a teeny bit for me here. So my edges are not matched up anymore, so I'm going to pause, match up the edges by just scooting the fabric in between my fingers, and then go a little further, and then pause, make sure that they're matching up. With my hand underneath, I'm feeling to make sure that the fabric isn't bending, because it can wrinkle up and get caught in the knife too, and I could be sewing something together and cutting something I didn't mean to. Okay, so there's one side. This one actually has a knife right here that you can pull and cut the threads, but you want to make sure that you leave really long tails. And I think what people do is they put the tension on the thread that's coming out of the needle and cut that too short. You actually have to pull it out and then go back and cut it. I'll show you on the next one. I didn't realize this one had one. They don't all have the knives there. Okay, so again, lining up those 1/2 inch seam allowance notches, and then lining up the edge. And let it start to feed. And again, right sides together, right sides together, right sides together. So your skirt should be inside out. So I pause every few seconds just to adjust my fabric. Okay, so you let it run out a bit, and then come back in and cut close to your garment with that knife so that you have really long tails coming out of the machine. If they're short, that's how it gets unthreaded. Okay, so once you have the 2 sides sewn together with the 5 thread, you need to press the side seams. So they're looking kind of bubbly right now, so we need to press them. There are different rules for pressing side seams toward the front or toward the back, depending on different things. If you had a pocket, you would definitely need to press the side seams towards the front. Some places they'll tell you to press the side seams toward the back. I don't know if you can see that, but when I press the side seam, you see that ridge that forms? If I press it that way or if I press it that way, that's an optical illusion, and so when someone tries it on, they'll see that shadow. So for this class, for the purposes of this class, I'm going to say press your seam allowances toward the front, and then that shadow will appear in the back, but the wearer won't see it. You'll have different rules in different classes, but for this class, that's what we'll do. And then it's a curve now, so we're going to need to use the pressing ham and put the, it's a curve and a tube, so you need to put it onto the ironing board and use the pressing ham to get over that curve on the hip. So we'll press our seam allowances towards the front, and then we'll apply the waistband next.